Now then, what's going on? You alright? Stephen Howson, Ronaldo Brown.
Amorim training sessions are going on.
They are going on, yeah.
And they're going on like a house on fire, apparently. Do you not... Alright, it's a bit early going into it straight away, but do you have a problem with the fact that 7 minutes of training was so accessible in terms of he could have had like someone like McKenna, he could keep it a little bit ambiguous, like, am I playing a 4 at the back, am I playing at 3 at the back? But then it's obviously been published. Quite a substantial part of their training. It looked like movement patterns to me.
Yeah, bit of shadow play.
A bit of shape of play. And what is your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people were obviously happy with how it looked, how almost like he presented himself, and the players that were obviously available, some of the youth being involved. But then there were a couple of people that were like, should this bit of footage really be out there?
It'd be interesting to know what he thinks, and not what... Laurie's just left, which is why we was a couple of minutes late. They overran. He got a video coming out on the main channel, so watch that in a bit. But if Laurie asked him in the press conference, say Thursday, you're probably not going to get the truth, because he'd be like, oh yeah, of course I'm happy with that going out. That might not be the truth. The truth might have been like, he's gone, you've done what? Like, you've put all my shape work out there. Now, I'm in a couple of schools of thought of this. One school of thought is, if he's going with this very obvious identity, then come tea time on Sunday, everyone knows that we play a 3-4-3. So the advantage you may have got in that one game is the only advantage you would have got. And actually, come Monday, everybody knows that United now play a 3 at the back. So on one hand, he might be like, who cares?
He wouldn't have gone out without a say-so, though. I think he just not asked. Maybe it's one of them where he's giving it the big I am. He's like... he backs himself in a way where he's not asked if
it's like, if know what my tactics are.
So you know what tactics are, but
stop them anyway.
Stopping them and beating them is a different thing.
We've been in a similar situation with this ourselves with what we do with Paddock. Occasionally, sometimes we've had our tactics go out. Now, the only ones that I say, no, delete that, don't put that out, is our set play routine. That's the only one. And we have the same set play routine. Now, there's actually 3 routines within the one drill, right, isn't there? But outside of that, I mean, you can watch us and know what we're trying to do, I think. And I wonder, is that the same sort of thing? Whereas, like, Pep's tactics, they evolve, and he does bring something new occasionally to the table. But people literally study his tactics. People will tell you his tactics better than he can tell you his tactics.
Yeah, it's right, because now that I think about it, it's just because it's more because he's a new gaffer. Because realistically, every Premier League club has about 20 people in the analyst department that are watching hours and hours and hours of every team play that they're playing against. So I actually think 7 minutes of training is not going to be too much different from what the information that a manager's getting week in, week out, especially it's only 7 minutes out of what was probably an hour and a half. But I think, so I'm more on the positive side of it, as we get to get a little bit of a tidbit of Amorim's personality and how he coaches and whether he has a presence about him, and it looked like that to me. And some people are a little bit scarred by the fact we've had so many managers already, 4 or 5. But it's just if you're not properly a fan, I guess, if you're not got that element of like delusioned excitement whenever there is a new gaffer, thinking maybe this is the one or maybe this is the time. Because I'm not gonna lie, I did watch that, and I got excited. I thought, yeah, I'm looking at the fixtures, I'm like, we're gonna win all of them. And I've got Arsenal away circled.
I'm really here for your one-man crusade against Arsenal, because I feel a very, very similar sort of thing to
I'm never going to lie. Did you... I'm surprised. You've surely seen it, right? What the Athletic did. Obviously, Laurie's left. Showing the percentage of goal kicks kicked long. Yeah.
It's like 70%, isn't it?
Like 78%. Arsenal have kicked 78% of their goal kicks this season in the Premier League long. Second is Everton. And people are saying it's because they've had 10 men for 2.5 games. And also,
out of what? How many games we actually played? Like 11?
Yeah, exactly, yes.
How many games have we played? It's about 11, isn't it?
And then another, you got tacticals, the Arsenal one saying it's because Arsenal have played opposition that are like very high pressing.
Bollocks.
So they've kicked
the entire league's high pressing.
So exactly. So and he named all the teams. They've played 11 teams and he named about 9 of them. So you're basically saying Arsenal have kicked all their long balls, all their goal kicks long, because they've played half the league. But
did you know Tottenham are at 0%, which means Tottenham have played short 100% of the time,
and whilst also being the top scorers in the league. So that's a bit of an interesting one. I just found that funny, especially because we're talking about Rúben Amorim and his training and what he's shown, where Arteta is very much the opposite, where it's also been Zinchenko's outed Arteta and saying that Arteta will actually have injured players kit up, get on a team bus as normal and walk into the change rooms as normal and everything, to kind of throw the opposition team off the scent of whether who's available and who's injured or not.
But the thing is, though, how many of those opposition coaches actually give a toss who gets off the coach? Because 1 hour before kickoff, and actually about 1 hour 15 when they get it, the team sheet comes through. So why would you speculate? Like, that extra hour, whatever you did on the training ground isn't going to change between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, when a team sheet comes through the door, you look at the team sheet, you go, right, okay, yeah, this is what we was working on in training. Or you go, okay, this is a bit different than how we thought it was going to go in training. Here's what the script is. Someone walking in, he's full of cringeworthy bullshit.
He is. There's loads of stuff that's come out, like he puts like different UV lights and that in the training ground because he's read something in a science book about how it. I'm here for
finding those little edges, and I'm here for trying things, but it just comes across so David Brent. Here's the thing, right? You can do that, but you gotta win. You gotta win, because otherwise you just look like a fruitcake.
Isn't that half the problem? though? We're saying them finding them a little bit percentages, or I think it's almost made Arteta become too much of a percentage type of manager. Because when we think percentage football, you're thinking hitting it long, second balls, take chances, take no risks, and it's made him boring to watch. He's filled the team full of like 6'3" players, thinking that matters as well. And I don't know, I think he's just over. He's really cringing at it, and I was so glad that he finally got booked for that in the Champions League the other day for handling the ball that was still in play, by the way, because I've been dying for him to get run over by an opposition player, because he's so jarring. His antics on the sideline, he's got this little. He basically encapsulates the whole fan base, the manager, the players.
They deserve each other.
They're all Muppets.
Yeah, but he's cringe. He's proper turbo mega cringe. Like, that documentary was the best thing ever, because I think as opposition fans, we all went, "Oh, he's a fucking helmet, isn't he?"
Yeah.
Well, what's he doing here now? Getting his fucking little marker out and drawing mad shit on the whiteboard. Imagine, so we have an analysis session on a Tuesday night, right? Imagine I start my analysis session by drawing a campfire on the fucking whiteboard tonight. Can you imagine the faces of our lads? Like, fucking hell's he doing? You don't need to be a cringeworthy knobhead. You just
That's why, because I'm looking at, and obviously Arsenal's a big game for me in it, because I think we usually, not in the past couple of years, but our record against Arsenal is usually all right, especially at home. I think we was actually unlucky to lose to them last season at Old Trafford, and they were expected to come in and wipe the floor with us, and it really didn't happen. I thought we could have. I think it was 1-0 Trossard. I think we had enough chances in that game.
I remember that game. Yeah. We actually should have beat them. They were shit.
They weren't good. They didn't play well at all. And I think Arsenal have that though, when they, especially the past decade, they come. I think they, no matter what the form book is, when they come to Old Trafford, they get a little bit shaky. Obviously, it's like the Emirates, which.
But this is what they're about. Like, imagine they go all of this, like the way they've absolutely lathered themselves up about themselves for the last couple of years because they've come second. Cool. Yeah, like we said to them, Ollie came second, Jose came second. Means fuck all, lads.
Glorified title escorts is what we call them. Little title.
But what if they fall off vibes now, and they look like they might be starting to fall off? If they fall off now, boy.
And you know what? Saying this,
no one chats shit like Arsenal fans.
And saying this, and I still feel like it's funny taking a piss out of Arsenal, and I want to hate them, but I'd rather they win the title than Liverpool. So, and obviously Liverpool look like they may be on their way, and that is a problem for me. And when I saw...
Nah, do you know what? If Liverpool win it, when we just go... We told you he was chatting shit about Klopp and he weren't all that. This fella's just come in
There's
out
always
of
a way.
fucking,
There's always a way to deflect, but titles, I don't know. I'd rather...
Them drawing level on 20 is a bit of a problem, though. They draw level on 20 if they get that.
Yeah, and that's not what I don't want.
Yeah.
Because I think we've given a lot of clubs a head start. We've given Liverpool a head start. When we dominated, especially in the early century. But I'm kind of looking at it in a way of 1 or 2 more seasons, and I'm just expecting United to arrive. I don't think it's going to be a gradual thing. I think United...
A little bit like Arsenal did, when it came out of nowhere.
I think United are not going to... It's not going to be a gradual increase. I think it's just going to be one season where things click and then we challenge. And I don't know when that is. That could be next season,
but unlike
2
Arsenal,
seasons.
get over the line and not fumble the bag.
I think we've got a little bit of a better DNA where we can actually get over the line in that. And that's what I actually want. And because how jarring is it doing YouTube the past 7 to 10 years when United have been poor? It's been tough, innit? I think we deserve some good times.
Literally any other point in Manchester United's history since I've been a match-going fan, it'd have been Steve had a purple Lambo. I get this.
Yeah.
People go, "Oh, you fucking do better when United lose." I don't. I do better when United win.
They want it.
I do numbers when United win. Because here's the thing: the people that do well when United lose, they pander to opposition fans. They create a caricature that opposition fans want Manchester United fans to be. Me and Ronnie here, when United lose, we don't want to do content because, like you lot who don't want to watch content. Our audience is United fans. I make content for United fans. I don't make content for Liverpool fans to laugh at and City fans to laugh at. So you're more likely to see me not make a fucking video than you are to see me losing my head. Also, I've been to fucking war. I got perspective. I'm not going to sit here fucking going losing my head over a football game. Do you know what I mean? I love football. It's a massive part of my life. But I'm not going to fucking lose my shit for clicks. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm going to keep it a bit more real than that. However, when United win, people do want the analysis. People do want to know why this is going well. People do want to watch the 5 things. They want to watch the review. They want to see us all happy. Fucking hell, do you imagine what me and him are going to do? United go to a Champions League final. Do you imagine what that vlog's going to do?
Well, we got to go in it. I feel like it... Champions League final,
the Champions
United.
League before we get to a final of it, though.
Yeah, especially good... Especially now, obviously, 2008 last time won it Moscow, and then we obviously had the traumatic final at Wembley against Barcelona. They were just unfortunately too good for absolutely everyone, and probably would have been too good for every team that existed at that point. And since then, it's just been it's been tough getting back. We've been to Europa League finals, but it's just not the same, is it? Because even I would say the win against PSG and them years ago under Ole almost felt like a bigger night than when we won the Europa League with Mourinho. Or is that dramatic to say?
No, I think there's been some big moments that probably do trump winning trophies at times. I think that Liverpool FA Cup game last year felt bigger than a trophy.
Oh wow! Especially, do you see
being real, didn't it?
You see my commentary on that? I was on the watch and I was like, an Amad Diallo winner would hit like crack right now, 20 seconds before it, and he's put it in. There's a couple of times, and I was like, because of what he's been through, and obviously winning, and the fact in Liverpool was Klopp's farewell tour, all of that.
Inject it.
Because I literally spent the 2 months before that, and Liverpool fans can attest to that when they were seeing me on Twitter. I was taking the piss out of Klopp quite a lot, and you wouldn't. Quite a lot for someone that played there, is what some people might say, but it's just one of them. I don't like Liverpool. I can say it now. Even when I was there, I didn't necessarily like. I still had, honest to God, I told you I had the same type of banter and bravado of the United Liverpool when I was there, and sometimes it rubbed them the wrong way. They'd say, "Oh, you tone it down a little bit." Obviously, I think there was one night where they lost a big game in the Champions League the night before. Bouncing. I came in and they were bouncing. The whole academy, the night after like a big loss in the Champions League, it's like a morgue. Like everyone's a bit. It's like it reverberates down.
Yes, lads.
And I bopped in, taking the piss, bantering. It's been clocked by like Phil Roscoe, these people, and they like pulled me aside and said, "You have to. I know you're from Manchester. I know you're a Manc. You can't take the piss. You need to like have a little bit more respect." And I was looking at him and I was like nodding along, and I remember leaving that conversation thinking, "Come on, man, grow up." Like honestly, because I think there was like
humour, man.
there was 3 Mancunians in the whole academy. I think, honest to God, maybe a couple.
Monzocchi as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Akira, Ford and Akira, Darius Waldron.
Oh shit, yeah.
George Johnson, actually, who's Bolton's skipper now, and Ryan Kent was another one, but he was like outskirts. Ryan Kent, he played for Rangers or whatever. So at that point, it was like we couldn't almost ban him. I used to bop in all the time and take the piss, but it's one of them. People think I didn't realise how much they generally hated Manx until I was there. It is deep rooted. I feel like they.
My mate Phil was at Everton with Rooney.
Yeah.
And he left Everton. He cancelled his own contract. Hindsight being 2020 is probably not a good idea, but he cancelled his contracts. He's like, these fucking Scouse twats walking past me.
Yeah, is it?
Meaning Rooney, really. Yeah.
Because
Rooney turned out all right, though, I guess. So maybe he'll.
Yeah, because we used to have like a bit of a rival with Tranmere Rovers. They were actually not a bad opposition when we played them every now and again. We used to beat them, but they were tough, rugged.
Good academy side.
Yeah, decent academy side. Yeah, and full of Scousers, and they knew about me. It was Mank, and I just gave him a little bit of an added edge. But because even now I'm looking at it, someone probably will find the picture of me and Gerard that one that take the piss out of.
That I've rinsed.
But what I don't want to see is Liverpool top of the table at the end of the season.
Yeah,
that's just me.
I do want to say,
even if it's
I saw your tweet over the weekend where you said a lot of adjectives and words get used for different footballers. Lazy, low IQ, this, that and the other, and he said you know it because you've lived it. And then I saw a reply of some guy saying, you play for a Sunday League team, no one's ever spoken that way.
Your manager is only Stephen Howson, yeah.
And then I saw one guy reply to it with the article for when you signed for Oldham. And I just thought, that's the fucking best reply I've ever fucking seen.
Nah, because I said to him, because the reply that I said to him, I found it cringe to say it, but I feel like I had to say it. I was like, because the point is obviously you had managers that are now like head coaches.
Yeah, Premier League.
Bundesliga, Premier League, Championship, some of them.
Yeah, Pep Linders as well.
Yeah, Pep Linders. There's like, obviously, Pete Wild, he's a coach in League One. Not personal to him, I didn't see that coming. He was like the third in charge when I was 18 at Oldham.
Well, Brendan Rodgers and Jose Mourinho had wild sort of elevations into becoming like first-team managers. Literally nowhere, the pair of them. How'd Jose go from being like a translator that does scout reports to getting his own gig is fucking nuts, honestly. And Brendan Rodgers came through a very similar kind of out of nowhere, like a youth coach kind of thing, and boom, first team coach. It happens. It happens. I mean, Steve Cooper's a little bit more traditional. Pep Linders is a little bit more traditional. But they've still got
Michael Beale as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure where Michael Beale's gone, but he was QPR gaffer in it last season, I think.
He was Rangers, wasn't he, for a bit?
Rangers. Do you know what I mean? And there's another one that I'm forgetting. He's in the Championship as well. But it's gone on my head. But yeah, but that's usually what happens. I think a lot of the managers now, they start out in youth football, so it's kind of normal, and they make their way up. Because for example, Jason Wilcox, like I played against City when he was basically helping coaching the 16s and the 15s when I was coaching there. So that's why he's very familiar with the likes of like Tosin, Sancho. That's why I thought when he came in, I don't know whether there'd be like a little bit of a mesh, because Jason Wilcox used to be a technical, obviously he was head of academy, but he didn't start out as that. He was initially just coaching like the 15s, 16s as well, and then he's gone up. But it's that progression is usually quite normal. But I found that thing that he said to me was quite funny. But I stand by what I said, and I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I think there's a little bit of people don't realise the subconscious biases when they make judgments on players, and usually get thrown around the whole pace and power, lazy. And
you mean about black players?
Yeah, but it's not. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes it probably has a lot of truth in it. But I just think there's some. You
get some players, and if they've just absolutely fucking dusted someone, you can't call that anything other than like pace and power. Not to rinse an old Bill Burr bit, but don't you think that slow white player might have done the same thing if he had done it? It's not an IQ move to just fucking be quicker than someone, but it's when people are reductive with it, thinking that he's only got pace and power. Like maybe like original R9, if someone be like, oh, he's just got pace and power. Oh yeah, and ridiculous fucking technical ability as well, mate. I think that's the other thing. I think that's what the issue with it is when it gets reduced down to oh, he's just like someone called Yaya Toure. Oh, he's just pace and power and a big fucking unit. And also, he
had a lot more
play,
to him than that.
Jesus
Do you know what I mean?
Christ,
It's stuff like that. Usually, I've been players where usually centre halves, people just automatically think that they're pace and power, and they don't quite have the nuance and like the little things that they would attribute to people that don't look like them that play centre half. Because I've obviously seen that myself when I played in academies, but it was just a point I was bringing up, and it was more to do with the whole Rashford discourse, obviously, the way, because I think a lot of the outrage is how things he does off the pitch when he's not performing. I think people wouldn't be as outraged with him going to a basketball game if he was playing well. So again, that kind of part of it.
United also get treated so different. I mean, look at how many fucking players this season have released like rap albums. There's there's like probably a dozen different players across different leagues. Look at the shit Memphis is doing. Like, and people will still be like, oh, we should get him back at United. We would kill him at United right now. The fan base would absolutely crucify him for his dress sense, for the things he says, for his fucking music videos, everything. You could not be doing that at Manchester United. Like, you just get held to a totally different standard. Rashford went to go watch, was it the basketball he went and watched the other day?
Yeah, it was
with Roshan, wasn't it?
Yeah, I seen that, yeah.
And Casemiro's at the same fucking game. And the coverage of Casemiro going to that game and the coverage of Rashford going to that game has been completely fucking different. And you're like, well, Rashford went with his mate and he went with his wife. They went to the same game. Who gives a fuck what you wore or who you went with? You either going to the game is all right or going to the game is not all right.
But this is what I mean. I'm looking at is obviously the outrage is because obviously he's not played well, so they want him and they're like, whatever.
Oh, look at what he's wearing.
So
and look at what people in our fucking team wear. They wear the same shit.
It's what he's wearing. Because I don't know whether people would be as angry with him going to the game and the way he was if he was wearing like a
t-shirt and jeans.
T-shirt. If he was wearing a t-shirt and jeans, I reckon that's why. If you think he would have just been as outraged if he was angry about it, if Rashford was in just a plain white t-shirt and a jeans,
I'll be honest with you,
then that tells you what you actually think about it.
I couldn't give a fuck. And David Beckham did get the same treatment, so that's not purely a race thing. But David Beckham was treated fucking completely different to everybody else. But David Beckham would wear some like flamboyant, let's say, clothing. But when I look at what Rashford's wearing, I look at every fucking mid-20s lad rocking that. You telling me Cole Palmer dresses different? Because I don't think he does.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. Exactly, because that's a definitive statement. All right, so if you was angry about him being courtside or whatever, ask yourself if he was in a white t-shirt and blue jeans, and don't lie, would you have felt the same way about it? And if you wouldn't feel the same way about it, that tells you everything about what it actually is.
I think that's worse.
Nah. But anyway,
Beckham wore us wrong. So what?
Anyway, because we actually haven't got that much time as well, and I think there was a super chat you need to get to. Do you know what I mean?
Do you want me to read it?
You read it.
Ryan Stubbs, a super chat. Cheers, mate. Says, just want to give you some flowers, Ste, on the incredible weight loss. As a tramper, it's hard to find me to keep the weight off. Right, tramper is a truck driver that sleeps in the cab. Right, forgive me if I got that right or wrong. Hard for me to keep the weight off, but it inspired me to get on it. I've said it quite a lot of times. I did quite a long time on it on Sunday night on Late Night Live. It's the Red Bull was a huge factor because it was like 1,000 calories in Red Bull a day, which you say it out loud, it sounds mental, and I wasn't saying it out loud. But also just tracking the calories, you know, that's been transformative, and I've been able to kick it up a notch or several in the gym. So it's a holistic kind of thing where it's all three of them things really having a big impact now. We'll see where it goes.
Yes, exactly. But on a quick one, there's a couple.
We haven't even covered the fucking title, have we?
We've semi have. There's a couple of questions.
We just talked about Arsenal not winning and Liverpool not winning.
It's fair. It's XG files you do what you want. Anyway, couple of questions though. There was one particular part of the video. You might have to be quick with these. From the Amorim training session was him taking a lot of attention with his coaching and towards Kobe Mainoo. And there's been a lot of speculation about where he fits in the team now because
we've got a video coming out
some fans,
just on that, actually,
some fans have kind of fell in love with the Ugarte Casemiro pivot because it provided us with a little bit of solidity under Rude. I'm thinking, can he come back into it? What do you think? Do you think Kobe Mainoo is a starter under Amorim or not?
Yeah. I think when he looked at the squad that he had, if he didn't know about him, he would have been quickly getting to know about him. I think he would have asked for analyst reports, internal scout reports from every member of staff that he could have got. I think he'd have watched as much tape as he could have done. I think he'll have just been like wall to wall, like season binging United and our full nights with his coaching staff. I imagine. During you go away with the lads on a bit of a work trip. You work till midnight, 1 a.m. every single night. We've done it on tour and stuff, haven't you? Because you ain't got the distractions of family and everything else. I think they'll have just sat there and they'll have watched every fucking game this season. And if they've done that, and select games from last season, even the FA Cup final's probably a great one to look at, isn't it? Well, what can this team do on a counter against somebody like a City? I think they'll have seen enough in the likes of Manu where they go, okay, there's a player in here. Can we get him to dance to the right sort of tune for the system that we want? And I think that's exactly what they'll have done. And then obviously you'd be wanting to get on the pitch with him. But I think there's a few like that. I think there's a few that they'll have looked at and said, I can't wait to see what he's like. Martinez, I think he's a big one. I think Mazraoui as well, if you've watched this season, would be a big one. I think they'd be really interested in seeing Bruno up close as well and what he can and can't do. And we've seen a few different sides of Bruno at different times. And he's kind of always been given this free rein, it seems, to just fucking spam crosses into areas and try and make things happen. I wonder, does Amorim come in and go, bit more control, actually? And maybe that's something that we see. At the moment, it's so up in the air. And I don't think you're going to get all of the answers that you want out of the Ipswich game, because I think Kieran McKenna's coming to stop.
Yeah, it'll be a tough game. It's never easy going away to a newly promoted side, especially when you're a big team like Man United. They're going to put in an extra 5%. The fans are going to put in an extra 5%, and it automatically becomes a little bit of an equaliser.
And do you know what? Just those tiny little decision-making things. If you're not completely 100% sure of what the manager wants from you because it's a brand new system, you haven't got the sort of instinct and muscle memory for where to be and what to do at different times in this new system. That's when it can break down. Is when because things happen so fast. When we watch it on TV, it looks like it's like a normal pace. Jesus Christ, when you're this close to it, it is. People are making decisions on passing the ball before he's even got it, let alone I've even got it. Like, where am I going to send it? Because the speed of the Premier League is ridiculous. So if you have to think about something, you're already behind whoever it is that's attacking you. So that's the sort of thing that's going to take the time, is getting that muscle memory and that automatic thinking about where to be and when to be there. That's the thing that I think we'll struggle with, early doors at least.
Because also, like, even to finish, because taking it towards what you expect then, because you alluded to it partly in what you've just said, is when you look at those runner fixtures.
You think we're going to win them all?
Runner fixtures? No, not necessarily. I'm thinking with there likely being a combination of maybe a bit of a new manager bounce, but also the players acclimatising to a different system and philosophy that might make it difficult. When you look at those runner games, do you expect us to come on the positive end of that, or do you expect there to be probably a couple of dodgy results to begin?
Don't know, because results don't always lead to performances, and performances don't always lead to results, don't they? So what we might see is results without performance, or we might see performances where you don't quite get the result, because that actually happened a little bit at the start of the season for Erik Ten Hag, where you're like, we're better than these results suggest. We've just missed loads of chances. What if that continues? That might continue. We might dominate games, we might create loads of chances and not score them, and then we're going to be in 13th still. Yeah,
well, obviously, you could do the McCullough thing and just be like, 21 is coming, because I think there are some people that are on that.
I saw that earlier in the chat.
But with how tight the league is, I think if we do get a good run going, with everyone fit, things can look quite positive in terms of us trying to get top 4. But I also think I'd like to see a Europa League run as well. But I think expectations need to be there, obviously, but they need to not be too high. And because everyone preached to me about patience when Ten Hag was here, so I hope you also take that into Rúben Amorim's tenure as well. Because I thought there's a lot of people that didn't want to see Ten Hag go and thought he was sacked too early, and I don't want him to take that out on the new gaffer.
That tends to happen. Yeah. I saw a lot of that with like people who were like really, really pro Jose when Ollie came, and they just never wanted Ollie, and they just didn't want him to succeed. I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm not a Rúben Amorim fan. I'm not an Erik Ten Hag fan. Probably a bit of a Sir Alex Ferguson fan. but he earned.
That's one of you just repeated one of my main arguments I've always had, and that's for the past year with the whole Ten Hag in or out discourses. I'm not a fan of players first or a manager first. I'm a fan of the team and what I think is best for the team, what's best for the club, and that's simple as. I think people get too attached and parasocial with certain players that they like and a manager they like, when I think how United's doing and the club is the most important.
And that's the one. I couldn't give a shit who's in charge as long as we're winning. Anyway, on that note, from me and Ronnie, take it easy, everyone. Have a nice Tuesday. We're going training in a bit and it's absolutely freezing. I'm not looking forward to that. I'll see you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.